The Hollow Knight community might be the most sad, content-deprived community out there in the world. I don't feel bad for any other community the way I do for my Hollow Knight brothers and sisters. Today I just wanted to make a little rant video about Silksong and what I think when it's gonna be released and why I think we might have Silksong news really soon. Now I know I may be huffing the copium and be high on that good, but here's why I think, right? Back in 2022, it was announced that Silksong, among a lot of other games, will be released within a year in an Xbox Game Pass reveal event, and it was announced that Silksong would be coming to Xbox on day one. And I, like many other people, were very skeptical about it because Silksong wasn't shown on that little graph they made where they displayed which games were coming out when. There was no Silksong on that, and my running theory at that point was that maybe Team Cherry doesn't know if they want to release Silksong at the end of 2022 holiday season or in the first half of 2023, so they didn't want to commit to a year. That was my brain rot, absolute sheep behavior theory, which clearly did not happen. You know what's worse? Xbox themselves confirmed that yes, Silksong is coming out. Now I don't know what they were smoking and who gave them that insider information. Clearly there was a miscommunication internally between Team Cherry and Xbox. That's what I would like to believe. Whoever says that it was malicious or Team Cherry deceived the community on purpose, they don't know what they're talking about. So time passed and we all waited in anticipation, and then February 2023 rolled around, where everyone's hopes and expectations and panties were in a twist, because February is a very important month for Hollow Knight. That's when Hollow Knight came out, that's when the first time Silksong was announced, and everyone was thinking, well, if the latest release date is June 2023, then February 2023 must be when we got a release date, at least, or a trailer. February 2023 rolls around and Santa didn't bring any present. All we got that year were shit cakes for Christmas. And after no news and high anticipation, it was finally announced in May by Let, the Team Cherry's marketing guy, that it's been delayed and that originally Team Cherry planned to release the game within the first year deadline like they said, but then they had to later delay it to finish the game, polish it up. Now, my problem with that announcement was that announcement probably should have come a little sooner, maybe in March, maybe end of February, but the fact that we all waited a whole year, we waited 11 months to find out that, oh shit, it's not coming out within a year, that rubbed a lot of people off wrong, you know, understandably so. Although I would like to reiterate, do not harass the developers. Game development is tough and difficult, and I'll get to that later in the video. But anyway, as the year went along, people thought, well, you know what, if they already committed to the fact that they will release the game within a year and then they weren't able to, and they have to polish it, that must mean they're pushing for a Christmas 2023 release. That just makes a lot of sense, you know? Christmas was still 6 months away, and that's a lot of time to polish the game, you know, get all the bug fixes out of the way, playtest your game, put a release date out, and we should be good. But then we heard nothing. That is the last bit of detail we have gotten from Team Cherry or anyone related to Team Cherry about Silksong. Now, let me get into how the community feels about this, because I feel like that's a very important conversation people need to have. A lot of people are upset with Team Cherry and a lot of people are being hateful and spiteful, but I feel like a lot of people are also defending everything related to Team Cherry in every way possible, and I think both of them are wrong. I think both extremes are wrong and right in their own way. First of all, let's talk about the development process and communication. I feel like the lack of communication from Team Cherry is honestly not excusable. Now, while I do understand game development is challenging and they're working their ass off to get this game just right, it's also important to know that, they have a very loyal fan base. Probably the most passionate fan base I can think of in the community outside of, say, Undertale, and they deserve some communication. I understand they don't want to spend a lot of time making long blog posts and things like that, but it's not that hard to be a little bit more active on Twitter, maybe once every 3 months, 4 months, maybe even twice a year. Just give a little bit like, hey, we're working on the game, we're alive, just a little something from Team Cherry. Because if you guys know, last time we actually heard from Team Cherry directly was in 2019 in that YouTube video they made on their channel. After that, they did make a lot of interviews and we did hear from Leth a lot, but we haven't really heard directly from Team Cherry. And the fact that when Silksong got delayed, We didn't hear that from Team Cherry directly either. We didn't hear that from William or Ari. I feel like that just rubbed a lot of people off the wrong way, and I can see this on the internet every day. More and more people have this opinion that their hype for the game is completely dying. Now I'm sure Silksong will be very successful no matter what. They could fucking shadow drop that game and it'll probably take Game of the Year. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but you know what I'm talking about. The hype for this game is giga real. Even though a lot of people now are getting really vocal on social media about how the hype for the game is dying, it's not going anywhere, realistically speaking. But I also understand that a lot of people have been let down by the lack of communication, and I feel like their frustration is justified. Now on the other side of this shit coin, there's people who are harassing the developers, or you know, just throwing a hiss fit on the internet all day all night, cussing out Team Cherry, saying Silksong is never coming out, hating on the Hollow Knight community. To those people, I would just like to say, find a different fucking game. Metroidvania genre has been popping off lately. There's so many good Metroidvania games that have come out and are on the horizon. They're probably gonna come out before Silksong. So try those out. Play Laika. It's a really good game. The new Prince of Persia, Lost Crown, very good game. Good Metroidvania. Borrows a lot from Hollow Knight. And you gotta understand, like, game development takes time. They didn't really start properly working on Silksong till they released that trailer out. When they released that trailer out, I'm pretty sure that's all they had. Because remember, before that trailer, they were still in the idea that Hornet is going to be a DLC. And they did an interview where they said that it was much later when they realized that Hornet just doesn't work in Hallownest and they'll need a brand new game. Since 2019, it's going to be about 5 years now in February since the trailer came out for Silksong. And 5 years for a massive game like Silksong, I feel like is a very normal development cycle. You must understand that the whole global pandemic also happened, and while Team Cherry did say it did not impact their development nearly as much as it did some other studios, it still must have had some personal effects on their lives. They are, after all, human beings and people, and it's a very small team, which I feel like people tend to forget just because of how massive and amazing Hollow Knight is. You would not look at Hollow Knight and think about how small of a team it is. You would think it's a massive team behind that game. Kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest, right? But it's still a very small team, and for that team and the scope of Silksong, which is so much bigger than Hollow Knight, I'm pretty sure they said in one of their updates somewhere that Hollow Knight Silksong is probably gonna be bigger than Hollow Knight with all of its DLC combined, just the base game. Because Team Cherry actually wanted to release Hollow Knight with all the DLC in it already as a base game. They just couldn't do it because they were broke and because development time was taking too long and they had to put something out, so they did it in terms of DLC. But Team Cherry has been very vocal about the fact that they do not really like DLC usually, so they're not like other developers where, you know, you put the game out and half the content comes later in a fucking DLC drop. They're gonna put a finished game outside. And for a game of that scope, that size and ambition and passion, 5 years of development time is really not that bad. Anyway, this brings me to my final point. It's been about 7 months now since that anticipated release date of June 2023, and if they were planning to release it, this is now like confirmation that they were planning to actually release it and had to delay it. And it's been 7 months and it's gonna be 8 months next month, and it's the 5th anniversary of the Silksong trailer. All the stars are aligning and everything is like coming together that on February 2024, 101% I believe that there will be at least a release date, an update, a blog post, something from Team Cherry. Are they gonna drop the game in February? Fuck no. There's no shot the game comes out in February because of how big it is. It's not shadow dropping. People who think Silksong is gonna shadow drop are fucking huffing. No shot that game is gonna shadow drop. They're releasing it on every single platform too. You guys gotta keep in mind, Hollow Knight released on PC with a lot of bugs, and they had the opportunity, because they were in a big game or a known studio, that they could iron out all the bugs before the game got popular. And then they did the console release later for Switch, and then even later than that they did the Void Heart release for PS5, PS4 and Xbox. But now they're releasing on every single platform. It's such a big thing, it's not getting shadow dropped, so whoever's under that assumption is like, they're too far gone. But I understand. But yeah, for sure, I do think that Silksong definitely will get an announcement in February, and I will be the fucking first guy to report it. I want to report it on my channel when Silksong does gets announced. I want to make content about it, I want to make a Let's Play series on it, and I want to give away the game to a couple of my viewers because I am generous. But yeah, anyway, I'd just like to say, keep your eyes out on February. I know this is a running joke in Silksong community where, oh, this is gonna be the year, this is gonna be the month, but come on. They have confirmed a release window and delayed it to finish up and polish, and it's been 7 months since that, and now it's gonna be the anniversary. It just makes sense that they would give a release date or a new update in February. I really do not think. And they really should. If they're smart about it, they should, because the community, I feel, is on a tipping point where their patience is being really tested, not necessarily with the games being released, but more so than the communication from the developers. I really don't care when Silksong comes out, to be honest. The game could come out in 2025 for all I care. What I care about is better communication with your community, between the developers and the community, of what's happening with the development process. I don't think we need more trailers. I genuinely don't want them to spoil the game even more than they already have. They've shown so many boss fights and areas, and one of the biggest draws to Hollow Knight is the exploration. It's a Metroidvania after all. But, you know, any release date, any update, I think we'll get something in February, so keep your eyes on for that. Anyway, I just wanted to go over Silksong. It's been in my head for a couple of days, and I wanted to get all my thoughts out because I've been reading up a lot on Reddit and Twitter about what the Hollow Knight community is going through and thinking about. But if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon with a new one. Bye.